Hey,
Hey everyone. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. So welcome to the Soap Wire. Of course, we have to go into our spiel, of course. So welcome to the Soap Wire, brought to you by the TV Cave. Like the name? Rebranding in progress. So we're brought to you by the TV Cave. This is Soap Wire where you get all our thoughts on our stories. And Soap Wire is actually sponsored by Katie Waltman. Jewelry offers elegant, handcrafted pieces from stockable rings and gold-filled bracelets to personalized charm necklaces featured in Elle, InStyle, Oprah.com, and worn by celebrities like Molly Sims. Enjoy an exclusive, okay, y'all, exclusive discount with the promo code SOAPWIRE. Once again, that promo code is SOAPWIRE. Okay, together, thank you very much. Of course, we will definitely receive a small commission if you do decide. So don't forget to shop at Katie Waltman, katiewaltman.com, enter SoapWire. And with that, I am Ashley Sheree, and this is
y'all, it's your girl Deneen.
welcome back to SoapWire, a brand new week, and that means we got some things to talk about. So
And we
first,
got a lot to talk about.
yes, it's some things. So first, we got to admit, I mean, granted, this happened in the middle of the week, and the next thing we knew, she was out. She told us the day before Tamara Braun
She
has
was the last
left
day.
Days of Our Lives.
Yes, but like, so we're recording today, Monday, and
Yes.
I think today she said the 7th is her last day. But Tamara says she's been gone since July. And that's one of the things with days, they like record 6 months in advance. So they've gotten used to not seeing her. But we're at this point, like, bye, Ava. I just hope I haven't seen today. I hope she get to leave Salem
Mhm.
and she's not killed off of Salem.
Well, I will tell you this. I think Friday the 4th was her last day. I believe that was
Oh,
her
great.
last day. Yes,
She
because she
walked away.
you already know she threw the gun away and sis was out of there. She's going to Hong Kong to be with Trip and his
Yep.
fiance Wendy. So I think Friday was her last day. It was just so crazy because literally it was like April 3rd, a Thursday. She said that, she's leaving. And, I was just like, wait, what? And just a day before?
I'm wondering, I'm not going to think too much into it because I'm wondering how much of that was like her decision. Because then I'm thinking about, what's his name?
Ron?
The guy who played Stefan,
Oh,
Brandon.
yes, Brandon. If I,
He's last minute like that too.
yeah, no, if I'm being honest, I don't believe it was Elias. Like, I don't believe it was necessarily like her. Um, but I do know there was some discontention about Brandon and how he left and he didn't really like it. It did feel very, very rushed. As someone who is a Stabby fan, like I love Stefan and Gabby together, it just felt like we didn't necessarily get a nice ending wrapped up in a bow. I mean, in a sense, yeah, because we know that they threw him in a trunk and he could come back. So, but I do feel like they gave Tamara, and I think it's just because of her statute in the soap world, a lot more respect than it gave him as far as leaving.
I agree. I agree. I
Mhm.
agree. I could see that. I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
We wish you the best,
Yes.
whatever is next for you in your career. Um, you're phenomenal.
Yes.
Range she has, you know, across the
Undeniable.
board. You could go anywhere. You could do anything.
And the soap people love her. I mean, she was on All My Children as Reese. She came back to General Hospital as the doctor. Like, so and then she went on Days. So she's apparently like very loved, and we know that she can act her butt off. So best wishes to her and all her future endeavors. And I only hear great things about her. So, girl, let's get into the soap. So, we got to start. We always go in alphabetical order. So, we are starting with, of course, our show, Beyond the Gates. So, finally, mother and daughter. When I say mother and daughter, because there are a lot of them, I'm talking about Danny and Chelsea. It appears that they came to kind of like a point of like, seeing each other and getting where each other were essentially coming from. With Chelsea basically saying that she wants to forge her own path in life.
I think they're at a point where they're able to respect each other as artists. Like
Hmm.
Chelsea is branching off, and I love the name drop with Brandon Blackwood and Telfar as well, as far as inspiration for the new handbag line. Shout out to y'all.
Yes.
Shout
Shout
out to
out to
y'all
them.
for being current. I think that they are also at a place where, Danny doesn't have a choice but to respect Chelsea for wanting to make her own path. Like she's
Mm-hmm.
hurt, don't get me wrong. Like she's very much so hurt as far as like the changes, as far as like what this means to her. But as a mom, I love how she's in her face, like, baby, go be great. I
Yeah.
support you. Is all these things. And I just think that that part of it is really cool. Like I absolutely enjoy that. Um and I think the happy medium was her being able to walk in the fashion show but wearing her bag.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And also, I appreciate how they came to an understanding about how they perceived each other to be when they were telling about, how she wanted to forge her own path. And basically, Danny was just like, Chelsea said, like, in a sense, she didn't want her to feel like she was abandoning her and like her dad
Yeah,
did. So essentially, like, she's really taking on something that a child should not. Granted, she's an adult, but she's always going to be a child in her mother's eyes. That's her daughter. So for them to have like a clear conversation about like, no, this is not what I'm doing. I just really want to be out on my own. I just didn't necessarily want to leave you behind. Then Danny finally coming to a realization, like, you know what? I see you. I want you to do your own thing. So like bet, do you. And also in seeing her and Kat come together and talk about it. And Kat was actually in Danny. She was like, I kind of like that idea. So let's like think about it. And she's right. Like you can tell Kat has a business mind too, and she sees the potential. She's thinking long term and like how this could look coming out the gate because it feels like Danny is definitely respected and revered. So to have that stamp of approval, like, okay, so this high scale former fashion model who was behind her daughter and trying to make her as successful as she was, is now backing her and her venture into wanting to do something with fashion. So yes, I agreed it was amazing. Also, I love how you mentioned Teflar and Brandon Blackwood because I also mentioned that when I interviewed Ronnie Rose. So Ronnie Rose actually plays Chelsea Hamilton. So if you have the opportunity, definitely check out that interview. She's such a lovely young woman. It was a nice talk, super duper sweet. So just wanted to say that as well. So like even going, I had to say like Chelsea had a good week because also going from those scenes she had with Danny Cat and then Danny Cat and her, she went from Haley and her and she read her down. She read Haley down.
she did. She honestly did. And go ahead, because I'm gonna say my piece after.
Okay. No, I was just saying she read Haley down. I thought it was probably like for me personally, she read her better than Naomi did, if I'm keeping it a buck. Like, and Naomi was top tier for me. I was like, okay, Naomi, I see you. But then with Chelsea, I was like, oh, I think it was because it was unexpected
Yeah,
how she went in. And sis like really went in on her. And I thought that it was needed because I do feel like sometimes Chelsea can kind of get overshadowed by Naomi when it comes to that whole situation, just based off the fact of that was Naomi's best
her friend.
friend.
hmm
Exactly.
And I think that's why Chelsea's attack went a little bit harder because
Hmm.
she didn't have those personal feelings of being a friend. Like Chelsea's angry, Naomi is hurt and angry. So it's
Mm.
like, as far as communicating and saying that, is like she's not able to get it out as she's nicer.
Yeah, yeah, she's a little bit, what's the word, tamer.
Yeah,
Um, but it just felt like Chelsea had that smoke. And I was just floored. I was kind of shocked by it because
I
she
can't
doesn't really
stand
give that
Haley.
energy off like that.
I can't stand Haley. I just can't. The actress, wonderful. You
Yes.
played your role, baby girl. The character, I told y'all early on. I think she got some stuff like why are you working so hard to have everybody love you without accountability? Like
Everybody.
everybody.
It's
everybody's being so mean to me. But what did you do in order for this situation to happen? What role did you play? You took this lady husband and ruined the family,
which he allowed.
which he allowed.
She
Which is, I
allowed.
know, I absolutely, which he allowed. But at the same time, it's like
You can't
you
expect
are
people to
not a
just be so
victim.
forgiving.
No, you. I just think she wants to play the victim role so heavy.
Yeah, I could definitely give you that and see that. You know me, I just feel like people always want to go in on Haley and they kind of dismiss Bill and his doing. And I think Bill is like, ugh, like,
Oh,
you,
wet lip kissing ass Bill got some explaining to do too.
yeah,
Like
did
he
you
ain't,
see the way he was talking to Danny too? Like when they
baby,
met
feel
up?
like we know what it's like when you sit there and reminisce. You remember this? You remember y'all remember the kids did this? Oh, what about this one? We know what
all
y'all
to use
thinking.
her, all to use her in a way, in a ploy for it to work out for Haley. I need Danny. I understand. I mean, and we've all been there with men. We've all been there with men, but this man is a habitual cheater for the past 30 years. This man left you destitute in love, I should say, because sis got money, but
My God.
destitute in love. And, and you still hunting and hounding for him. Like, I just hope to never be that desperate in my 50s. Like, I love Danny to death. Like, I love her. But, like, sometimes I'm just like, sis, like, you look bad right now. Like, you look bad and
Yeah,
awful.
I think for me, it's probably the therapist for me. I think for me, it's a lot of, it was one scene she was talking and she was saying how she went along with the plan. Like this was the plan of how everything was supposed to go. Like
With the
this
cheating
was-
too?
you know, she literally was like, he said this is what we was gonna do and this is what it's gonna take to get there. And I thought we were doing that. I thought this is what this was supposed to look like. So like in her head, she feels very much so bamboozled
Mm.
because she's like,
I guess
and
she thought even with the cheating, she would still be the
yes,
one winning.
yes, and I see it so
Ugh.
much in my couples, and that's why it's like so hard for me to just be like, Danny, get your shit together, because in her head, she's like, I gotta suffer through this storm in order for us to get where we going.
Mm.
And a lot of women, a lot of Black women in particular, feel like struggle love is something that
Oof.
you have to go through.
And I refuse. I think, and see, now we're about to get on some personal ish.
I was,
I think what I have seen in life, and even with my dealings of just like being so in love and, having it happen when I was like in my mid 20s, you couldn't tell me nothing about this man. It made me realize that that's not something I would ever want to go through ever in life again. I'm not trying to be in a business of struggling because I really do believe in the saying, I could do all bad by my damn self. And I
yeah,
wish Danny, like, she had that realization. And I know that it would take a long time for her to move past in the process of it. But
mm,
I think the way that Bill also treats her, it just makes me so disgusted because he treats her like the gum stuck to the bottom of his shoe or like he stepped in a dog's poop. Like that's how he treats her. And I think that's why it just really bothers me. And I want her to stand up. And I keep saying that, sis, stand
yeah.
up. Like, come on now. Cause even just after that kiss that she planted on him, and I got that, the reminiscing and all of that other stuff. But like just how he speaks to her is crazy. I would have to be like, get the fuck out of my house. Like it would have
And
to.
I can't wait for like, cause she shows that side to everybody else. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm over him, skip
Yep.
them. But we see you on their pages. Like your
Yeah.
family did something about you on their pages. You waiting on him at the house, taking time. You kissed him. Like Danny needs to get to a point to see that the history that she had with Bill is not as great as the future she'll have in her independence. Like
Mm-hmm.
she has to honestly see that her ladder is greater. Like,
Exactly. And it's that old age saying too, like you always remember the good and not the bad. So I just
yeah,
feel like Danny just constantly remembers the good and just not the bad. Because if this man was cheating on you throughout your entire marriage, did you really think that he was just still going to stay? Or maybe you just thought it was like out of habit, that essentially he wasn't even going to go anywhere. So maybe that's why it was a shook to her. This man really actually went somewhere. Oh, okay. So like that could have been something too, but I'm just tired of seeing my girl just like this. I'm just like, girl, like this is bad. This is Michael
Yeah.
Jackson bad. Like, please, honey, please, I'm begging you. Like, don't make me beg like Brooke on Bold and the Beautiful, baby. Please, like something. Like, oh. So yeah, that's just our thoughts on like the whole Danny and Bill of it all. I feel like we could go on and on about them, but also, the chief, because I can't say his name because it's just give bad blood. The chief is basically lying to his son Jacob. He's a goody goody goody. That's
Like
just
he works,
Jacob.
and then gonna sit there and say, my son, he too clean. He ain't gonna ignore.
He's not. He knows his son. Like, and then part of me is like, why did y'all even send Malone? I mean, granted, it's the story, so of course the stories are gonna put them together. But then I'm like, Ashley, you're thinking logical.
Yeah.
Like, stop thinking logical. Because at first I was like, why would the chief put Malone and him together, knowing that his son is just a goody goody goody? Like, why would you do that? But then I'm like, Ashley, it's the stories. They're creating, that whole
That build up.
yeah, intense and conflict and everything. And think about the fallout that's going to be for Jacob. It's going to affect his marriage. It's going to affect his relationship with his father. Like, it's a lot of things that are bound to happen to Jacob once this all blows up. So, yeah.
I agree.
And then also with that, still, we do have the sexual harassment case brewing, and Danny, I mean, not Danny, see, look at me. And well, Danny did reach out, basically telling Bill, you need to watch out for our
Yeah,
daughter.
like you the one that can hurt her, which
Yeah,
is
which
true.
is very, very true. But of course, here come manipulating Bill, trying to manipulate the whole situation. One, making her come late to the meeting. Then two, trying to invoke a settlement for $1 million. But of course, like so many different loopholes that were there. And
Hmm.
then the next thing you know, homeboy got a numbness, and Naomi's worried about her daddy.
And I was telling Ashley before, I was like, those scenes were so cute. Like, oh, that's such like a daddy daughter relationship. Like, that's how me and my daddy was. Like, you get on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. What you mean you sick? Hold on, let me bring you need some. I'm about to bring you some ice cream. I'm right here. And I think that's reflective of black families as well. Like,
hmm
we
We could
don't
do
play
it.
when there's something going on.
It's like we could do it too, but can't nobody else. Like who we fighting? Like
Period. Period.
oh man, do you have anything else for us pertaining to Beyond the Gates?
Just Joey. So
Ah,
Joey Armstrong was caught lying. His mother has been deceased for a year.
for a year.
And
And
you
Vanessa
found
don't
a
give a
house for a
damn.
dead woman, is what Vanessa said. Why you found looking for a house for a dead woman? And I was
But
like,
Vanessa don't give a goddamn. She just
you
wants. She
know,
just wants. She is attracted to that man. You
yeah,
already know
that's
Vanessa
cute.
got
They
that
got chemistry.
libido. She ready to go.
They got chemistry. And,
They
she's
do.
really dealing with like the younger ones, little cougars.
hmm
So like for her to mess with Joe, but I think she needs to find out more as to why he lied. You don't care that he lied, but baby girl, you need to figure out why. Why is
Yep.
he trying to get close to you? Like, put your thinking cap on, as my daddy used to say. Like,
I think
it's
she just likes the fact that he's giving her attention.
attention,
Yeah.
and it's so sad that is going to be her downfall.
Yep. I mean, there are some Janessa. I know y'all call them Janessa, which I love that name. Shippers out there. So they have it. I just think John Lindstrom is just a great actor, so he brings it out, and I think Lauren as Vanessa is good too as well. Also, it was nice seeing the Lauren and Nicole friendship. I don't really
Yeah,
feel like we got the opportunity to really see that friendship until this past week. We always got to see Pamela and
funny.
and Danny's friendship, but not Vanessa and Nicole's friendship. So it was kind of nice seeing that, kind of getting the groundwork going with them. So
Nicole Loretta.
she really is. She really
Nicole's
is.
a writer for real. He lying to you. When you get home. Like she was so serious with it. So I respected that too, especially to have that closeness with women for their age group.
Exactly, exactly. And just being honest and being in a real friendship, because that is something too that you would tell your best. Like, hey, like me and my husband, we just got a open relationship and this is how we doing it, type of thing. Girl, I don't know how you do it because it couldn't be me. Like that's actually like real
Realness.
conversation. So I did like it. I did appreciate it. Anything else before we move on?
I think that is it for the gates. We can close the gates.
We can close the gates out. Moving on to something that is called Bold and the Beautiful. Lord Child. So the saga of Sheila and Luna, the cycles continue. Um, I don't know what to say about them. It's interesting. I did see some Discord too, just being like, why is the next conversation with them basically about her going after Will and not going into like, well, how did Finn feel about this situation? How was it when your Aunt Lee found out about this? It just went straight into, ooh, you like Will? Like it wasn't any depth there. So when I saw the conversations on Twitter, X or whatever you want to call it, I was like, that's a very good point. Sometimes with Bold, I feel like they missed the mark to have a real crucial meaning and depth storyline.
Hmm. Everything is
Um,
rushed, and I think too because the episodes are shorter,
mhm.
they try to like jam pack everything in, and it just doesn't flow.
It doesn't. It sometimes feel like they don't essentially take their time or they take their time with the wrong stories. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because the Hope Ridge Carter story went on for what, 6 months? In my,
yep.
like,
And there's so much I feel like they're missing with the whole Luna, Sheila, Lee, Poppy, Steffi of it all. Because that's a real story there that they're not essentially tapping into. You could tap into the groomer aspect. You could even still go more on like how Lee is dealing with the situation of her sister doing that to her son. Going in depth with Finn about how he feels about being taken advantage of when he was a kid. He was 18. He was a kid. I don't care what nobody says. He was a freaking kid. So like I think they really missed the mark on that. Even with Luna, like how do you feel being a product of, your grooming ass mother? Like, how does that feel for you knowing that that you thought this man who was your cousin forever and a day is actually your biological father instead of just jumping in like, oh, I want to be with Will. What sense does that make?
I feel like the minority storyline is too minority.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it that way, but it's true. Like you said, it's so many different dynamics to crack through in that. Um, Especially because, see, I don't, and the powers that be, I don't know if they realize
No, no, they did. The blow up that was gonna happen?
yes,
I
because
know.
you created this story that nobody wanted to see,
Mhm.
that was triggering for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Um, and then you brushed over it like, all right, now we got this new family connection. Let's make her fall in love. No, let's let her work through what it looks like to heal from all of this.
Exactly.
And then that's how I feel like I would have done it for Luna to come back as this empowered character
Mhm.
because she didn't went through like this transformation of really finding out what her lineage is.
Yes, and even like I'm sorry, if Taylor could want to rehabilitate at one point, Sheila, she could have done that for Luna too.
Yeah,
Like let's really, and that could have caused friction between her and Steffi.
yeah.
Like I don't think she should be free, but I also want to see, what is her problem? What is her issue? What does this stem from? Like what's essentially going on here? They really like they really jumped the shark and didn't really think about it. And the thing is, like, I liked Luna. Like, Luna was great, but they didn't listen to the fans. The fans wanted Jack to be the dad. They wanted Finn's father to be the father. So you tried to go for shock value and it backfired on that ass. I
It
know so many
backfires
Sin
from
fans
everything.
who are livid that they stopped watching.
And I ain't even gonna hold you. And I just really hope that this is not what I'm thinking it is.
Oh
Because
God.
okay, so did I hear correctly?
Oh
Is
God.
Scott leaving?
I didn't hear anything about that. I think Scott is such a treasure and he
Yeah,
actually wants to stay on board. If he is, I would be very surprised. And I haven't even seen any rumors. I've seen questions like people are like, "Is Scott leaving?" Like, I
yeah.
haven't seen anything.
Because I think that they're gonna try to do another love triangle.
Oh God.
Liam, Steffi, and Hope.
Ugh. No, praying to God that it won't be. That backfired on their ass too. That did not go over well either. It really, really didn't. They need to figure out a storyline for Hope that suits her. And I know they don't want to bring back Thomas, and people actually love Thomas and Hope together. Thrope is what they call them. But yeah, I don't know what they want to do with Hope. I just hope they do. They need to figure out something different where it's not a continuation of Taylor and Brooke with their daughters, Hope and Steffi.
And I
Tired
feel
of
like
that.
that's all they know. Like for them, that's lineage. Like
Yeah,
let's continue
exactly.
to let this story play out and the rivalry, and the rivalry between families and between mother and daughter. And that ain't cute. That's not uplifting. That's not what we want to see at this point in our lives as audience. I feel like with the whole Liam passing out situation, one, y'all, now the nurse in me is speaking. If you are wobbly, if you pass out, you wake up. Thank God you woke back up. You feel your head. Oh my God, it's blood. Get your phone, call
That
911.
was my first thought. That was like, and I know they're gonna say he's disoriented, but I'm still people think about their phones 24/7. Shoot, even when they're asleep, they think about their phones. I was just like, why wouldn't he pull it out instead of, wobbling out, falling in the ground, like on the outside? Thank God he did, so Steffi was able to find him. But
Yeah.
still, once again, I was just like, come on, yeah. Some things.
Because at first I thought he was having a stroke. Like after the conversation with
That's
Bill.
what I had a question
Bill
mark.
was very,
Yes, let's talk about that. Oh my God, they
that
went
was a lot.
in on each other. Bill called him Mr. Waffle, which is true.
Just a waffle, man. I was
Which is true, bringing up his dead mama. Like, I was like, whoa, like they're really going there. But I mean, I was eating it up. I was
like, yeah.
go ahead, give it
Bill
to
was like,
me.
I done did everything for you and your brothers.
Yep.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me I ain't did nothing for you and your brothers. And I'm
He basically dared him to quit. Like, go ahead, quit. Like,
he went
he told him, when I come back here, you better not be here. I was like, ooh.
and he gonna regret that so much, especially finding out what they said a brain bleed.
Yeah, yeah. So that was good. So I have to also say shout out to Scott and Don, because they did those scenes. Like that confrontation between Bill and Liam, I thought was actually very, very good. I did have a question mark too of did he have a stroke? Like, because you really couldn't tell. You could see in the scene when he started all that blinking shit. I was like, oh, something's going
Yeah,
on here with
yeah.
him.
So I legit thought he had a stroke, and then when he hit his head and he had a brain bleed, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, he had a stroke, or they're gonna
Yeah.
say aneurysm.
And then, of course, like we said earlier, wobbled on out to the outside door, fell. And of course, Steffi found him because she was going to go over there and tell Bill a piece of her mind, like she didn't do that the last time when it was her and everybody else in that house going in at Bill. We already did this already, but okay. So basically, she goes over there and she finds him. But I have to say, Finn and Kelly were so cute. Like they had so many. The scene was just cute with them. They're so adorable.
It was.
And love it, love it, love it, love it. Of course, then we have you brought up too earlier before we started recording, like Hope sees Deacon. I completely forgot about them. I'm not
Yes,
gonna
so
hold
Hope
you.
and Deacon had okay, so I said Deacon. Hope and Deacon had scenes with each other as far as like Hope catching him up on the confrontation with Brooke and what happened with that. Then we had like flashback scenes of Brooke over there like, oh my bad mom. Like she really was contemplating it. But Deacon pretty much told Hope, like, I know you got issues with Sheila, but you could come live here. This is always home. If you feel like things aren't going the way they need to go with your mom, like you're
In a
told.
one-bedroom apartment above Elder Dino's, please.
I don't know, but all I know is in them scenes for this week, he was kicking Carter ass. But Carter looked like he got the cookie back too.
Child,
So I'm gonna see what it looks like
child.
today. I'm gonna watch.
That was the most funniest thing I've seen in a minute.
Uh,
It almost was more funny than the Saturday Night Live skit recently, where the audience yelled
Talking
out,
about
"Shit,
men ain't what?
shit!" Their reactions, Michael, Colin, Eagle, like their reactions were like the funniest thing. The amount of times I watched it, but like him fighting him, Cobra Kai is in the building. Like,
He was a hype.
oh my
Okay.
God. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to that during the week. But my only thing is like that, where was Cobra Kai at when Liam was waffling back and forth between your daughter Hope and Steffi for over 10 years? So pause on them freaking calls for that one, sir. You needed to whip his butt. Okay. He had freaking Irish twins messing around with them two. So let's stop. I was like, boy, if you don't go somewhere, then of course it looks like from the pictures, Daphne's gonna break it up. But going forward into days, got we gotta talk about Sean D and Jada.
They are the
Basically,
cutest to me. Like I love me some Shondi and Jacob.
yes, they're so adorable. So they
Okay.
admitted, well, Sean D basically admitted too that he's just been avoiding her because he just didn't know
What's
how
been
to.
going on? I feel like I'm hoping that Jada doesn't let guilt get her to a point where she like feels obligated to make a decision she doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing is too, I have to say, Miss Cantu, who plays Jada, she was doing it in her scenes with Rafe Galen. He plays Wave. I thought that it was an amazing performance. Like her performances, low key the entire week was really good for me. Like even her and Sean D having a conversation about avoidance, her being like, I need to tell Rafe and be honest, from her telling Rafe, and then that whole scene. So let's stop there. From her telling, like, what did you think? I thought it was just amazing. I couldn't believe Rafe. I'm like, I understand that you're hurt, but she did not know that that was you. Like you hurt the race she thought it was literally left her at the altar and then tried to get her jailed. Like lost her job too. So come on. Come on. What's your thoughts?
I personally, I love her with Shondi. I feel like prior to her and Rafe getting back together this last time before he got kidnapped, I didn't know that they were back together. Like it just wasn't any chemistry for me. Like it
Ooh.
was like that ship has sailed, you know? But with everything that happened, like her feeling like he cheated on her before the wedding and not knowing that it was really Arnold, I think that it opened her up to be like, well, this is why this isn't meant to be. And I
Mm,
hope she stays with that because Sean D is very supportive.
he is.
Very, we gonna figure this out. You know, I'm trying to give you your space. I'm not trying to like overstep anything right now because I know that this is a lot for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he's being a compassionate man.
Yep.
And I hope that she continues to like be okay with that.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That man is just literally just like so amazing. How can you just not love Sean D? Like, I just don't know what else we could just like say about him. It's just like he's just like literally amazing. And I do feel like
Yeah.
the following is growing for Sean D and Jada. Shonda, I think is what they call him. I think it's so cute.
Just
But I
love
just
your ship name, y'all. I just love it. Y'all are so creative.
so creative. But even just going back to Miss Cantu's like performance, so like even the one tear she had in her eye when she was talking
Yeah.
about Rafe to about her sleeping with Sean, then going to Paulina and just like the conflicted emotion that she was like basically feeling all the way to her like getting drunk at the small bar. Like and her like she had moments of like funniness there. Like it was just like great. I just like I love her. I think she's amazing as Jada. I'm just like give it all to me. And then of course the growing list of shooters for
Like,
EJ.
who shot you? Like that's EJ's
Biggie
anthem.
Smalls are coming at you.
Who shot you? Like, because at this point, I one thing that I can say that I'm appreciative of as far as like days is that you all painted a beautiful whodunit story.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we wanted for John Cates.
Yes. Yes.
This is what
Yes.
we wanted. And then it's literally flashbacks how like it was even like sometime later, and then everybody was in different spots, and like everybody had flashbacks of them going back talking to EJ, and it was just like we saw motive, we saw clear motive, and now we're over here playing Clue. Got a couple.
Yes.
Who you think shot EJ?
John, and this is where I like, and not even going off who I want it to be, I have no idea who it can be. Just
Mm,
based off the fact that a lot of people have
everybody.
some really good justifications of why they would do it, from Johnny finding out that he sexually assaulted his mother, from like Eva and his being in conflict, in cahoots with Rachel Black, to Rachel Black, to I mean to Rachel freaking Blake, to Kristen because he stole her, to Kate because he threatened her children, to Roman because he was feeling some type of way, to Jada, to Gabby. Oh my God,
To
like
Paulina, to Chanel, to Johnny, like to Belle. I just hope that they don't make it Ava just because Tamara is leaving.
yeah,
Like
I
we
don't I
saw her
think
put the gun in the trash can, but then we also had the flashback of Gabby and JJ
yep.
at her house.
Yep, JJ was at her house and no one was there. We also had Roman putting the gun back. Like there's so many things going on. I think even Kristen with her gun. So like you really don't necessarily know who it could be. I did also appreciate just the monologue that he had talking to Stefano's portrait too as well. Talking about the people who hate him, and even naming, like he said, the only one he felt like was conflicted was Belle. Ooh, child, when I tell you I am waiting for Sammy Brady to come home. Ooh, because I know she's going to rip her sister a new one, as she should. We already saw, I don't know if you saw a picture floating around of Belle and Sammy. So, like, everybody who knows Days of Our Lives, there's been like a long, I guess you can say discord between Belle and Sammy. I mean, Sammy basically kidnapped her when she was a kid. So, like, this goes all the way back to when she was born. So, I am so ready to see how this happens. Also, the reveal of Sammy being Belle's kidnapper, epic. Like, that was top tier soapness back in the day. But there's just so many ways and things that this could turn out. So, I am definitely excited. But I do think it would be too easy making it Ava. So, I really don't believe it's her.
I agree.
But we shall see, because I don't even know.
Johnny took the gun. He don't have an alibi. He was telling Chanel he was walking around. Um,
Yo, with him telling her too, she was like, "Oh my God, we can go to the hospital." He said, "For what? He got what he deserved." I was like, "Oh, ooh,
yeah, so
woo, child! It's going to be
listen,
something." I'm excited about that too. So, what do you have anything else for days?
that's all I have for days in the whodunit story.
Yeah. So we chugging right on along, y'all, to General Hospital. What do you think about that show that is called General Hospital?
I think it's a lot of things in the mix right now. I just had a conversation with my mama about it as far
Ooh.
as the Rick Elizabeth car crash.
Mm, that
And
part.
she was like, I think Christina might be going to jail this time.
She
I
need
think
to.
Christina's gonna go to jail because one, Rick saw her.
Mm-hmm.
She told Lucky before Lucky knew that Elizabeth was in the car. Do we
Yep.
think that Lucky would have chose for Christina to walk away and go to the bar if he knew that Elizabeth was in that car first?
Never, never. But also, this is just
So
if Lucky decides to actually really keep this secret, well, you already know his relationship with Elizabeth is up in smoke now. It's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, for you to claim, and granted, I'm a liaison fan, and I'll say that
Y'all
quite
say
and
so.
clear.
I'm like, Elizabeth only lied when it's her benefit.
So like, not too
She
much on my girl.
she ain't gonna go
Not
for
too
this
much
because
on
she
my
got
girl.
hurt.
Because also people lie when it suits them. But like, I was just like, that it's just gonna blow it up because I almost died. So like, and
Yeah.
you're gonna keep this crazy lady. I was about to say something else. You're gonna keep this crazy lady secret when she really needs help. Um, Christina is always coddled to the point that it's just not even fun anymore.
Yeah. It's
Like you
and
have nobody.
I try to think like I be so used to Lexi in this role. Shout out to
Yes, I miss Lexi.
Shout out to Lexi. And I feel like had this been Lexi in this role, I would have been, oh, come on, Christina, let's get it together. You didn't have to do that.
We would have been more forgiving, of course.
Yes. But Kate as Christina, I'm like, I have no sympathy for you because I feel like I see Lexi as a child that grew into adult as Christina. So a childhood part of me be like, get it together, girl. You are adult now. But Kate as Christina, I only know you as an adult. So I'm
Yeah.
like, why you out here making these decisions? Like, come on, like
But
you knew
there's
what was going on. I checked it. It was Ava's card.
but there's also no nuance of like how she plays her. So like
Yes.
and I think she's been playing her this way for so long that we don't see anything redeeming about her. We already knew that Christina she had her issues. Like we all could see that. Like that's something that she dealt with her issues with Sonny and low key feeling abandoned by him to being abused, by Kiefer, trying to come to terms with her bisexuality, being a unicorn, like all of that stuff. Like we've basically seen her through it, but the way that Lexi played her, it just allowed us to still love her and be enduring to her.
Yeah.
Whereas, unfortunately, the way Kate plays her, like I just can't. The constantly calling Irene Adela is just like cringeworthy to me. If it wasn't for Drew being the most hated character for me on General Hospital, it would be her.
She would be almost runner up. She would be almost runner up. Speaking of Drew,
That one.
I do not like this bond that he's forming with Kai. It's very
Oh,
predatory for me. And not predatory as far as like pedophile, no. But just like he's preying on his vulnerability of wanting to play again.
mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Like, I don't think it's a race thing. I don't. I just think that, like, sometimes I see it as that. I can recognize that bias in me as a person. But I feel like you're not gonna take this athletic black boy and just make him play again.
Yeah.
Like that's where his value is. Like,
Oof.
I'm very cringy with
Mm-mm.
his storyline.
And under the guise of, "Ooh, I'm trying to help you." You know what I'm saying? Like, I want this for you. You don't even know him. Like, and this is also General Hospital's problem. They rush stories to the point of I feel like they're low key worse than Bold. Bold is a 30-minute show. Low key, if you're taking out the commercials, probably 16 to
So,
18 minutes.
yeah,
General
Paramount.
Hospital, you are a 60-minute show. You take out commercials, you're probably 32 to 35. So you have the time and the opportunity to build on these characters and these stories, but you decide not to. And that's why a lot of people have no connection to them?
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why, because like I feel like we needed to see him interacting more with Kai to kind of get the sense of like, why would you want to pay, six figures for this person you don't
You
even know? It
don't
doesn't make any
you
sense.
don't know him, you don't know his story. It's just like this is your benefit. How can this make you look better as cutthroat Kane? As the
Because
young
he
adult.
cannot use the last. Shout out to Dr. Monica freaking Quartermain. Okay. She said you will not be using the Quartermain last name. Okay. And on top of that, she said, y'all ain't going to do nothing with this crypt either. Okay, Monica came the freak through. So we also have to say shout out to Leslie Charleston. So basically her character, Dr. Quartermaine, Monica Quartermaine, got a wing in her honor, and this was done before she unfortunately passed away. So this was going to be in a movement. I am happy that it was a chance to acknowledge her, but it was lacking because the head nurse wasn't there, which is Elizabeth Weber, who
Right.
is connected to the veteran character, the legacy character, one of the first characters, Dr. Hardy. So that was weird. like,
That was her grandfather.
like,
It's
what?
her grandfather. I thought it was very off putting as well that Jason wasn't there. Now we
That's
can
true
say what we
too.
want about Jason, but Jason show up when he counts for his mom. So like,
Yes.
I just feel that the presentation, for her, love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a rush job.
Oof. And
You have to honor her like that. And I
and
hope
it's
the only
oh,
way
sorry, go ahead.
I hope that's not the only way that they honor her as well.
Oh yeah, no, they did say that she will probably have her own episode just as Jackie did, who played Bobby. But I know that they said that they are waiting. So apparently this was been in the works before Leslie passed on. But my thing is if this has been in the works since Leslie passed on, why was it done in this manner? That should have been top tier because you're also celebrating General Hospital's second
60 seconds.
62nd year of being in existence.
And my thing is like you don't have to celebrate an anniversary special every year because then y'all just threw this episode in. It didn't make sense.
Oof.
We had everybody present that was supposed to be present. And it's supposed to honor both Leslie Charleston and Jeannie Francis. So I'm hoping that I mean, how was Laura honored besides being in the episode?
Oh, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it, I don't know. It's just yikes. Yeah, that whole situation, like to not have and let's keep it a buck. Jason was her favorite son. To not have her favorite son there, to not have Elizabeth Weber there, who is the head nurse, like
Her
it just
grandkids,
her
like
grandchildren, none of them. I mean, Jake is in West Bubble somewhere, but Danny's right there. So like, I Michael's burnt up, so unfortunately, like he can't. But like, there's
we didn't talk so much about,
ugh.
you
And
know,
I'm sorry, I think it just make me so mad because it's just like the history. Please, General Hospital
well,
history. But
we'll end
when
it on this note, this positive note. New Emma remembers
yes,
a lot of the
that's what I was
Quartermain
about to say.
history. When she went out on Anna and was like, "Oh, I was supposed to be with the crap." You
Hmm.
don't remember the Quartermains? You don't know what
You
they've
had to
done
tell
for
Anna a
you.
thing or two.
So,
Okay.
talking about what happened to you, Grandma? We trying to figure out the same shit, Emma. Let us know. What
Yeah, that's what we.
happened?
So shout out to Braylon on that. Like that was a well written scene.
It was.
I have to admit, it was a well written scene. They did a very good job. Braylon did a very good job. Anna Devane, Fiona Hughes, very good job. That felt like General Hospital.
Yeah.
Give us more of that. I need to look and see who wrote it. Give us more of that, and like we'll be in because she was saved by the quarter means not once but twice. Edward saved her and Tracy, and she never forgot it. And then on top of that, too, Alan Quartermain like was a crucial part in Robin's life when she found out her HIV diagnosis. Like what? Like come on, the history was just all there, and they didn't forget it. So as much as I drag GH, I will always give them their flowers when they do something right. So
Mhm.
that was one thing I will give you to y'all. Y'all actually did that right. Kudos.
Even though we ain't
Oh
got no flashbacks, because y'all don't want to pay for flashbacks. But going over to Young and the Restless.
no, wait, we forgot, girl. We didn't even talk about like the whole crypt though. The crypt was really good. I had to say,
Okay, I do love that. I do love the aspect of the crib and Monica getting the land and switching it
mhm,
over that the crap gets to stay. But I cringe worthy for Drew. He
yeah.
thought the sheriff ever he let me know how Tracy face was when they know
Not
that
even think about his daddy,
you didn't. Your grandmother, your
your
grandfather.
sister, who's your child is named after.
Everybody, okay, so we have Lila, Edward, Alan. Emily, AJ, Justice. Is that everybody?
Probably some of the illegitimate
And then like
beside.
the host, like I don't know,
Yeah,
like
the host was probably in there too. But
that Vicky,
I think you hit the nail on the head though. That's the majority. That's the majority of them. But
everybody in there.
he really didn't care. Like that was insane to me. How you
Because you don't
got
know them. You want to be
yeah.
a Quartermain so bad. You want to have Jason memory so bad. You wasn't with them shooting in the gym. Like go somewhere, Drew. Please.
Please go. You don't understand what AJ and Jason been through, okay, in that house with those arguments. You wasn't there shooting in the gym when AJ got in that accident and homeboy went through the windshield and Ned
You
had to
were
come
not
in.
there. You was not with Ned Ashton when he lied and said that he was driving the car. Where were you at when everybody found out that Justice then was family?
Okay.
Where
Ooh,
were you at with Mary May? Where was you at?
where was you at? That whole courtroom scene? Child, that was a tough. See, and mind you, we were probably like 8 or 5, but we still talk about. You know what? Let's go on. But shout out to Jane
It's
Elliott.
still memorable when you think about it. Like how much TV have we watched and consumed to still have it? Those scenes are core memories for us.
Yep, they really are. They really are. Shout out to YouTube where we can still watch them. And I hope you never find where we can watch them at. Ever. But also Jane Elliott, like she elevates the scene so much. I
Uh,
thought that she was so great with Yuri and Trina. You know, she was like, Trina, you're getting
so,
this? She was like, and you had Yuri like go limp. And she was like, oh God, Jane, you are a treasure. You are a
love it.
queen.
And I wrote that down. I wrote Tracy and the young adults because I
Yes.
just really love them together.
Put Tracy with the young adults more. Like, oh my goodness. I just thought it was so great. Like all of them, her with Emma, Trina, like all of them. It even makes Geo like more acceptable. So
Yeah, I agree.
all right, so now we can move on to Young and the Restless. Can I just really say I'm tired of Claire, Kyle, Summer, and Grandpa. I
Mm,
am. Because
mm,
that's the quadrangle. You know, it's not Chase, it's Grandpa. Um, Victor has other things to be worried about instead of his granddaughter that he thought was dead, dating Kyle. I already stated how I'm very sick and tired of Kyle always being a focal point. I mean, for me, throw Holden in there because Claire actually has chemistry with Holden too as well. I could tell that they were chem testing. You already look like you're not going to throw Chance in there. They're literally wasting the actor that plays Chance, and he's a fine looking man too. Wasting him. Because even it could have been a Summer, Kyle, Chance situation, even maybe a Claire, Holden,
mm.
Kyle situation. I just need not Kyle to be the center, please. That's it.
I agree. I agree. But of course, you got the whole Newman Abbott continuation.
Yep.
So again, the rivalries. This is like next generation. Like this is what people would feel like is important. But no, it's the actual storylines. Like
Mm-hmm.
main aspects of it, we don't care about that.
Exactly. And I love how you brought in the next generation because as quiet as it's kept, Victoria and Adam should be like the next generation in the business aspect. Like Victor should still be around, but he should be taking a back seat. And his 2 children who are the most like him need to be doing more. You got
Yeah.
Kyle, I mean, you got, Adam telling people that he's with Chelsea now. Okay, yeah, yay, I guess. For me personally, like I used to be a Chelsea and Adam fan, but I now see that he has a lot more chemistry Adam with Sally. But also Victoria too, like she's just like her father too. And she's gone around worried about Claire all the time. Like they need something for those 2 specific characters who are the most like Victor to do something. They're wasting them.
Right now they're props.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
hurts. It really hurts. The
Yep.
storyline, not me.
Exactly. It's a shame. It's a shame. But I always have to say, because the Kim with Adam and Sally, they need to be back together. They just have it, and I don't know what Josh's thing is with them,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but he doesn't want them together. And also if we're talking about Kim, let's talk about Damien and Lily. and they're sparring back and forth. I said, "Oh, okay."
You want to push for that so bad. I'm not against it. I'm totally not against it.
You
But
want
I
her
don't know if
holding?
I'm for it.
You want her holding instead? They've been flirting with that too.
Yeah, I can see that. But I feel like it's still early on. Everybody then got Kim tested, trying to see what the response is gonna be like. Do they have
hmm
shift names yet?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know. I feel like Young and the Restless. The only, if I'm being honest, the only ship names that I ever really see is Schnick, of course, Sharon and Nick, Flick, Phyllis and Nick. Of course, it's like those two. Nadra, because that's my couple.
You just call a sexy couple. I
My
mean,
my sexy couple. There was a ship name too for Kyle and Summer, but Scow or something like that. But I forgot. But I haven't seen anything for like anyone else, unfortunately. So but I'm sure it might be one out there. So I don't care. Like Lily could be with either one, but I think I appreciate too the look of their going into the enemies to lovers type of trope with Damien and
okay.
Lily. So like that's what makes me get on board because they're like constantly arguing right now. So of course,
With
like
more
if
passion.
yeah, so if you guys are watching, you already know that, Lily came to Nate's penthouse to, basically tell him about how she doesn't feel like he is, that Damon is trustworthy, investors. Damon is like, you don't even really know me. Y'all lied first. And then, us putting this behind us, did you really mean it? So it was a lot of that. And it just also brought me back to he was also talking about the fact of finding out that the man that he deemed was his dad wasn't his biological dad and what that did to him. And it also brought me back to like Lily, even though people don't talk about it, it was stated that Malcolm is Lily's biological father, but Neil is her father, dad, period. So I was just like, Lily, I think you could be a little bit more cognizant of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you kind of low key went through the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that one day too that can essentially like really bring them together. They even confront Lily later on at the jazz club, at the athletic club too as well. Basically like they know it was Victor, they could tell type of situation. So I just really appreciate the Winters Hastings of it all. Like it keeps me engaged, it keeps me wanting to watch it. Y'all already know I love me some Nate and Audra when they're on the screen. I think they're just a beautiful ass couple. I just there's nothing else I could say about it. But I just really enjoy seeing them, and they need to bring Aunt Mamie back. Aunt Mamie is the patriarch. I see what they're trying to do with Amy, but Amy is not the patriarch. It is Aunt Mamie. She needs to be there as well.
I think maybe with Amy being sick at this point too.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, you went out
Hopefully
a little
she'll
bit.
see.
It was breaking up a little bit, just so you know.
Oh, mic check 1 2 1 3.
You're good now. It's back. Oh, also, for me, the only other thing that I really have is Phyllis keeps spiraling and Tracy is worried. So that's all I have for
Phyllis
you.
said, "I'll never get kidnapped again." Meanwhile, Sharon like, bro, it's okay. This happens all the time.
Duh, like welcome to my life. Like oh, you'll get used to it. Like I'm on my third one, girl. Like if I'm thinking about past years, probably fifth. Come on, child. Like, oh my God, yeah. So, I mean, Young and the Restless is Young and the Restless. So they're still chugging along. There are things that really interest me. Sometimes they just go really, really slow. And it's so crazy when you compare and contrast where you have the slowness of like Young and the Restless, but then the rushness of General Hospital and Bold. Like, it's like absolutely insane. But that is where we're at. I just realized we didn't say our handles. If you stayed with us until the end, we are so appreciative and thank you so much. Once again, my name is Ashley Sheree. You can find me on Twitter, lady 2Ys underscore ASA. It's the same on Instagram, but on Blue Sky, it is lady 2Ys no underscore ASA.
I am Deneen. I am on Instagram, Neen underscore Amanda. and then Neen underscore the therapist. That's Neen, like Deneen. And I am on Blue Sky under Neen Amanda, and X Twitter, Kiss My Name.
Sounded like something else really quickly. So, guys, don't forget to follow Soapwire on Blue Sky. It's just Soapwire, one word together. Also, you can follow on Instagram. It's soap_wire. Simple way that it is spelled. Once again, we are sponsored by Katie Waltman. Once it's the jewelry that offers elegant, handcrafted pieces from stockable rings and gold folded bracelets to personalized charm necklace. Okay, and it was on celebrities such as Molly Sims. So don't forget to use the code SOAPWIRE at katiewaltman.com. So Katie Waltman promo code is SOAPWIRE. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. And really quickly, my performer of the week was Miss Cantu, Jada Hunter. So she did amazing.
Oh, okay.
Talked
Okay.
about it earlier today, so you already know how I feel. Please join us next Wednesday. It drops at 8 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us on Soapwire. We shall see you next week. Bye.